Welcome to a special Monday episode of the Wisco Fanatics Show. We're excited. Jake and I have been talking about doing some different things on some Mondays. Today we have an interview with AJ Bocchini. If you don't know, he's an author. We're going to give him a chance to introduce yourself. So, AJ, how you doing? And give an introduction to yourself.
Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on. First of all, it's a true honor to be on the podcast, the show today. For those of you who don't know me, a little bit of background on myself. I'm 31 years old. I graduated the University of Wisconsin Whitewater, a two-time national champion, as well as an author. And I'm currently a varsity assistant at Homestead High.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
All right, you want to introduce your book, talk a little bit about that, and then we'll start asking you some hard-hitting questions we got for you.
So in 2017, just a few years prior to COVID, I wrote a book called Finish. And the book is my autobiography. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it on Audible as well. It's my autobiography, my journey with cerebral palsy. And it talks about my journey with CP as well as my journey in the game of basketball. And it goes from birth to 26. So it's a pretty extensive book, but it's not an extensive read. It's a pretty quick read. It's 144 pages. So if you guys are interested, you can find it on my website, ajbocchini.com, or Amazon as well as Audible.
Yeah, and you're not lying. It is a pretty quick read. I think I read it all in one day, actually.
And Finish comes from 2014 when my college coach pulled us into the huddle, and I told the guys to finish, and they finished, and they won the national championship. They're second in 3 years. So
sweet. So first things first, what drew you to basketball?
First of all, what drew me to basketball was my dad was the JV girls basketball coach when I was real little. And then I was able to coach my brothers when they were in youth, and then as well as being manager in high school. So what drew me to basketball was it was the easiest to understand. For me, it was the easiest to coach because you only coach 5 guys. And it was warm. So in comparison to football, it was the easiest decision I could make.
Love that. I actually I have a son, and I coach my son in football and basketball. And I agree. Basketball is much easier than football, man.
Yeah.
It's easier to keep 5 10-year-olds focused instead of 20 10-year-old. That
Right.
gets a little hectic.
20 on both sides, yeah, right.
All right. So another question for you: how do you stay engaged with the game today?
Well, in addition to currently being a coach at Homestead, I have a lot of connections throughout coaching today. My buddy Drew Bryson is the video coordinator at DePaul. Jake Gritzmacher is the coach at lacrosse. The coaches at Western Illinois used to be at Whitewater when I was there, as well as Sun Prairie West, with Chris Davis, Alamo High School with Steve Egan, and Poinet High School with Cody Odegaard. So I have a lot of coaching connections that keep me engaged in the game, and as well as being with Coach Predator and Homestead. So I have a lot of coaching connections that keep me engaged in the game today. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
it's a pretty good network to be a part of.
Yeah, I spent 6 years at Whitewater, so it makes it a pretty extensive network. Yeah,
that's awesome. So this might maybe rub some of your connections in the wrong way, but who's your favorite person that you've met in the basketball world?
My favorite person that I connect with today is Drew Bryson. He's the video coordinator at DePaul. I've known Drew since he was a senior in high school, since we recruited him at Whitewater, and he's always been very open to talk to, even when they're struggling as a program. He's been very open to talk to and very open to communicate with. My favorite person that I met.
Oh, leaving us on a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Oh. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna hit so hard, man.
My dad opened the gym to John, to the Kohler High School, the gym, and to John and the Buck staff, and they were able to play 5-on-5. So I was able to talk to John for a little bit. That was a really cool experience.
If you don't mind, we were having some technical difficulties. You want to repeat that answer of your favorite person?
My favorite person to talk to was to communicate with now is Drew Bryson. He's my college teammate, video coordinator to Paul.
Yep.
But my favorite person that I met in the game was probably Bucks GM John Horst. I met him when they were they were playing 5-on-5 at Kohler. They were at a conference in Kohler, and I got to connect with John just after he got the job and talk to him about like a little bit about the vision for the Bucks and a little bit about the front office. So it was cool.
That's awesome.
It's pretty sweet. Two things. One, our Badger expert actually is a UW Whitewater alum, so he loves Whitewater. Always talks about Whitewater. I used to visit him all the time.
I talked to him about Mike a little bit before the show, actually.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, Mike's good stuff. We Tyler and I have a lot of buddies that went to Whitewater. Cody Relic and Jason Kuski, a lot of names that I used to party down there all the time, man.
Yeah, right.
When I was a numbskull.
Sounds very responsible.
I'm just an old numbskull now. Also, I sat behind John Horst on an airplane to Baltimore one time. So we have the same favorite person. So I actually talked to him in the airport.
That's awesome.
It was just so random. I saw his bag and it said JH, and I was like, hold on a sec. That guy's kind of balding. I know who that is.
He's a good dude. He's a good dude. I met him when he was really young and fresh on the job, so I didn't ask him too many questions. But it was really a cool, eye-opening experience just to hang out with them for a night, and just to randomly hang out with them for a night was really cool.
Yeah, they just have so much knowledge up there that we don't even have a grasp of. It's insane.
Yeah.
So the next question I'm going to ask you is, what is your personal favorite chapter of your book?
My favorite chapter is chapter 4. For those of you who don't know, I had a service dog growing up. His name was Ace, and Ace was the best friend of the family. And when I was in college, just before I left for my freshman year of college, Ace passed away, and the vet came over and said Ace died of a broken heart. But to connect, they said he died of a broken heart, and I believe that he gave us the permission to grow up and move on to college and move on with our lives. And also, I believe that he told us he'd be looking down on us and being proud of us, no matter what we did. So that's what I believe today.
So in a different vein of questioning, our buddy Cody, who watches all of our shows, and he talks to Jake and I often, he asked, who is your biggest rival college-wise?
That's an easy one. For me, it was Point. For me, this goes back to high school, actually. When I was in high school, the biggest team in the state was Randolph High School. And we never played Randolph, but I always wanted to play them because they're always in our sectional. And we played the Randolph kids when they all went to Point. So we played them in college, and we beat them. We beat them my on our way to the national championship, and that was pretty big. It was pretty big personally for me, just because I knew all those guys. I knew the success they had. So that was our biggest rival, was Stevens Point.
Nice.
I like it.
So back to the book. What do you think is the most important thing that you say in your book?
There's a couple things I can think of. The first is family, because family is not only blood, it's also people that you surround yourself with. And the second is surrounding yourself with great people. But not only surrounding yourself with great people, surrounding yourself with the right people who are going to help you push to your goals and help you succeed. Now, your goals may not be the exact same as the person you surround yourself with, but that's okay. The important thing is to surround yourself with people that are going to help support you and believe in you, regardless of what your goals may be. So.
You are quickly flying up my leaderboard of favorite people that I've met. I'm not going to lie to you. You're a wise guy. I appreciate the knowledge that you're dropping today. So with that being said, this is something that is near and dear to Tyler and I's heart. We talk a lot about mental health. So we want to know, how do you take care of your mental health?
there's a couple things I do. I do a lot of reading, writing. I do read a lot of coaches' books. I do a lot of learning that way. I do a lot of journaling. Daily journaling is always key for me. And for those of you who don't know, I also go and I see somebody once a week to just clear my thoughts and get my thoughts. Every Tuesday at 9:15, I know where I'm going. So because that helps me clear my thoughts on a daily basis and helps me get to the point of good mental state. So yeah.
That's good. I like the learning aspect. It's fun. The different people that we've asked this question to and always getting different answers.
Yeah, one of the things that I'll be open on the show with is during COVID, I really struggled. I had a lot of speaking engagements lined up. I think I had 9 lined up. They all went away at the same time. So COVID was very tough on me, but coming out, I knew I needed a way to get myself right. And the way that for me, that was reading, writing, and journaling. So, yeah.
I like that. So kind of on a similar wavelength of question, what way of responding to adversity works best for you?
Every adverse situation for me is a learning experience, whether it's a learning experience or a growth experience. I'll give you guys an example. When we were juniors, we lost in the second round of the tournament after winning a national title. I think some of us, including myself, thought it would just be, we're the defending champs, whatever. It's going to be easier than we think. Well, it wasn't. So we came back my senior year, my third year with the team, and we all grew from that, and we learned from it and grew from it. So I think that taking every adverse situation as a learning experience and a growth experience is key to my success.
Jake, I noticed you perk up at one part.
Dude, you know how many Milwaukee Bucks fans need to hear that right now? Like, I'm not even like, I'm going to cuss. I apologize if you don't like cussing. I'm not even shitting you right now. There's so many, I don't want to use the word toxic, but I'm going to use it. Toxic sports fans, right? And it litters all over social media. And Bucks fans right now, and Tyler and I are going to have a really big discussion on it on our regular Wednesday show at 4 o'clock. So be there for that. And we're going to talk about expectations and, how hard it is to win a championship. And, just because you have a Giannis and a Dame, it's not handed to you. They still got to get used to each other,
Exactly. And to all the people on Bucks Nation who I do follow on social media, let's chill out a little bit. Because,
man.
Losing one game doesn't define season. So,
thank you.
They play 82 of them,
especially in November, dude. Right. Like, come on.
Right. Exactly.
So now this is a perfect transition, dude, for this next question, my man. How do you deal with losses in a positive way? I mean, I feel like you already answered. I'll be honest
with you guys. I was a terrible loser growing up.
No, so was
I. Ask anybody. I would go play video games, and I'd literally change the outcome of the game I just watched. I literally win the game because the team I watched just lost. So yeah. But now I take it as, like I said, I take it as a learning experience. We play 24 games at Homestead a year, and we don't play. When we play this year, for example, we play 6 of the top 10 teams in the state. And that's out of league. So you're gonna take it if you want to chin, but you got to learn from it. And that's what I do. And you play not to your opponent, but you play to the standard of yourself. And you set the standard yourself. You don't allow your opponent to dictate your standard. You set the standard yourself. So that's how you got to handle it. You got to play to your standard rather than play to your opponent.
Love that. I absolutely love that. You're fantastic, dude.
Appreciate it, Jay.
All right. So, lucky you're going to the Badger game tonight.
Yes, sir.
So, what are you looking forward to from tonight's Badger game?
I'm looking forward to a couple things. First, being reuniting with my coaches, who I was fortunate enough to coach with at Whitewater. The second, talking ball with them. And the second is watching Kamari McGee, who I was fortunate enough to cross paths with when he was at St. Cat's, when I was with Coach Bennett at St. Catherine's. So I'm looking forward to watching him and seeing his development as well.
Nice. It's interesting because we talked about this a little bit last Wednesday that Greg Gard is using a Kamari McGee, Chucky Hepburn, John Blackwell unit, all three of them on the floor at the same time, all 3 point guards out there at once.
Yeah, I find that very interesting. Blackwell's development, Blackwell and Storr are going to be the key to the Badgers' success. I think Blackwell's development is a little faster than you would think.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that Blackwell and Storr are going to be the key to the long-term success of this group, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think Blackwell's toughness is something that kind of sticks out right off the get-go. And Storr's athletic ability, obviously, is something that this Badgers team desperately needed. So having those two guys that can kind of get into the teeth of the defense, dribble, drive, finish, or kick out, I mean, that's definitely going to be key for this Badgers team. You know, we saw what Johnny Davis did. The guy ended up being a lottery pick. So hopefully Storr has something in store for us, huh?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I'm the guy with the bad puns. So stick around if you like those.
That's all right, Jake. You're good.
So one last question here for you, and I think this might be my favorite one. What is a New Year's resolution you'd make for a Wisconsin sports team? You could pick any one. You could pick all of them. I don't care.
You could do all of them. Yeah.
Up to you, man.
No, mine is, because it's new and fresh, mine is Wisconsin football.
Okay.
I like the success they had this year, even though it was up and down a little bit. But make sure you're recruiting the right kids for the culture, not just the athletes on the field. Make sure you're recruiting the right kids that are going to be stabilize your program for the long haul. We got to look at football like it's a 3 to 4 year commitment. So you got to make sure you're recruiting the right kids for the long haul of the program, not just the 1 year hoping to hit lightning in a bottle. You got to make sure you're recruiting the right kids for the next 3 to 4 to 5 years that you're gonna have. So that would be my resolution.
Yeah, you're definitely a coach. You're 100% a coach. Love the mindset though. You have a very positive mindset. I hope that you trickle that down through your team. That's my hope that you do that, and I'm sure that you do. But man, you've been fantastic. I appreciate your time. Seriously.
Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it. Thanks, Tyler.
Barry, who's he's been watching our show a lot. He asked, how about that Whitewater football team?
Oh yeah, that's a simple one. Win it all again.
Love it.
That doesn't hit. That hits before the new year, so that'd be nice.
So I have a question for you. This is just off the dome.
Yes, sir.
You were there when Jake Kummerow was there, right?
Yes, sir.
What's your? I partied with him one time, so I didn't get to see the football player Jake Kummerow. What was he like on the team?
Jake Kummerow as a D3 athlete was just a different dude.
Yeah.
He was 6'5". He would run. His sister was on the women's team when I was on the men's team. So that whole family, to be around his dad, who was a first-round pick, to be around, him, who at the time we didn't know would be in the NFL, but that was really a cool experience to be around somebody who worked his tail off and was actually a down-to-earth guy. I have the pleasure of actually I was in class with Jake before he made it to the NFL. Before he made it to the NFL, and it was good. I mean, it was fun. It was fun. We had a good time. It was a good time, and it was great. I mean, I wish he would have stuck with the Packers, but that's just a personal thing. I wish he would have stuck, but I'm glad. I was glad to see him make a career for himself. So that was good.
Yeah, when I met him, the one day that I met him, he was like a super nice guy. We were just having a normal conversation about football, about the Packers, and he was just a normal dude. But man, you saw the difference, like the muscle and how big he was. And I'm a big dude myself, so like seeing that, I was like, man, that could have been me, man, if I would have ate the right things and worked out.
Cody said, never thought you'd meet the touchdown Jesus.
Yeah.
Barry also said, my uncle works in the athletic office at Whitewater. So all kinds of connections just popping up here and there. But AJ, one more time before we let you go, just give people a chance to let them know where they can find you.
So my website is ajbocchini.com. You can order the book off Amazon. My Instagram and Twitter is either author AJ Bocchini for Twitter or Finished by AJ for Instagram. And Bocchini is BOCCHINI. Yeah, so.
All right. Well, AJ, we appreciate you the time. Definitely appreciate the insight, definitely on some of the mental health related questions, as well as the patience that is needed that come with sports. So, again, appreciate it. Have a good time at the Badger game tonight, and hope the Badgers can get a W for you.
I'm Wisconsin, baby.
Thanks, Tyler. Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it, guys.
Yes.
Have a good night.